Hello Diogenites, welcome to the second of our Diogenes masterclasses. Today we're going to go through oranges and rosés, and we're starting off with a rosé from the northeast of Greece, Pella, which is our Pachadrava from domain Ligas, which is 100% Zino Mavro. It's a natural wine.
What is natural wine?
So natural wine is a method of wine production and farming where your grapes need to be from organic or biodynamic stock, and it's produced in a way where nothing is added or taken from the winemaking process. So really minimal intervention. There is in fact no sort of legal definition. It's a sort of self-imposed thing from winemakers. I think it has had some stick in the past from creating sort of funky cidery styles of wine. I think most of the natural wines that we have on here at Diogenes won't have loads of funk and will be quite nice and clean, sort of similar to this Zino Mavro here. Zino Mavro is a grape that is very, very similar to Nebbiolo. Martin, have you heard of Nebbiolo before?
Absolutely.
Where can you find it?
Barolo.
Barolo, amazing. So Nebbiolo is a really thin-skinned black grape with a crazy amount of tannins, and those are the things that sort of latch onto the proteins in your mouth and give you that really grippy feel, that mouthfeel, which also breaks down meats and cheeses and proteins really, really nicely. So Zino Mavro, very, very similar to Nebbiolo as a grape, and with this, just a little bit of skin contact. The color's almost sort of rosy, golden. Loads of sort of red fruit, strawberries coming through. As a rosé, this is beautiful and out of the norm because it's so grippy and tannic, but still soft and sort of rosy and strawberry fruit led in color. We're going to move on to our Koshu next. So next up is our Koshu, which is the first of our orange wines that we're going to go through.
What is orange wine?
Good question, Martin. It's probably the most asked question we get here. What is orange wine? Martin, I'm going to throw a question back at you as unprepared as you are. If I'm making a red wine, what kind of grapes do I need?
Red.
Beautiful. Black grapes, I guess, is the family of grapes, which could be red or purple. Darker grapes is what you need because it's the skins that we need to make that wine go red. If I'm making a white wine, what kind of grapes am I needing?
White, most likely.
Not always. Or black grapes, where with white wines there's absolutely no skin contact. You're taking those skins off, which are full of what you call anthocyanins, which are your color compounds that add to the color of the wine. So you're only using the pulp, the flesh, to make your white wines. So if I'm using black grapes for red wines and white or black grapes for white wines because there's no skin contacts, oranges are essentially white wines that have had skin contact from white grapes. So they carry those anthocyanins, those color compounds, and also carry those tannins as well. Koshu is a grape that is synonymous with Japanese wine. Only recently, very, very recently, have Japan had to sort of change their wine laws so that 85% of grapes that are from one specific region need to be the grape that's on the label there. So they can't get as many grapes in from externally as they used to before. Koshu's a medium-sized, pinky, orangey type grape with thick skin. So it does have a good amount of tannins, but I think like most things Japanese, really, really elegant and well made as a wine, quite tannic, peachy, apricotty. It's a beautiful little delicate, elegant, subtle number, especially as orange wines go, because they can be perceived to be a little funky at times, but this is definitely not. The final of our oranges in this session is an incredible Slovakian number, and I'm going to leave you with none other than our Slovakian representative, Martin Simo.
Hiya. Our last one of the session is Saint Orange from Svetik, Slovakia, from a region called Levice. It's a blend of 3 grapes, Gewürztraminer, Gruner Veltliner and Welsh Riesling. Spent 21 days on the skin, hence the lovely darkish orange color. It's been aged in the oak barrels It's very, very round wine, quite elegant.
Yeah.
In terms of
Super aromatic, I'm guessing.
super aromatic, yeah, and aromatic towards peach, very apricotty.
Yeah.
Quite elegant, yeah, it's floral sense definitely.
I love it. It's really hard to find really clean, elegant orange wines in this style. And you said it was a natural wine as well.
It's a natural wine.
No sign of funk.
No, it's definitely not funky at all. Svetlik is a winery in the region called ethos. Slovakia, as such, got 6 wine regions. 5 of them are on the southwest. One notable exception is on the east side, which is Tokaj.
Okay.
Funny enough, the most famous region of Slovakia, broad
Most famous for their sweet wines.
for the sweet wines, yes, is the one which is there alone.
What's the deal with Slovakia and Tokaj?
Sadly, we lost the license to
There's no deal.
Hungary. So obviously there is no deal. So when both Slovakia and Hungary joined the European Union, the license for Tokaj could go on into the one country. And because the region is spread out in between East Slovakia and Northern Hungary, they had to choose one. And unfortunately, they chose Hungary.
Yeah.
So what happened then is we had amazing wines. Sweet wines coming from Slovakia, but they couldn't call them Tokaj.
They couldn't put a the label.
Correct, yeah. So obviously business-wise, that was the end of it. A lot of these winemakers in the east side had to start thinking what to do next, experimenting a little bit, doing new things. So there's lots of good wines coming from East Slovakia. For instance, Matuš Dobiak is quite famous there. We also had something from
We had a skin contact
orange.
Yeah, it was a Haas-Levelou ferment, which is like the grapes from the sweet Tokaj, but made in an orange, slightly funky style. So people have been making wine there for hundreds of years. And you were born and raised in Slovakia, right?
Yes.
And your parents growing up, like, was wine a thing? Is wine a thing in Slovakia?
So, not only my parents, Slovaks as such, they've always been wine drinkers. But what I think what's changing, well, there are 2 things changing in terms of wine in Slovakia. Number 1, people are willing to spend a little bit more on a wine. So they now start to recognize, well, spending more, you can get something much, much better.
And was good wine being made back in the day?
And it's a good wine. And that's the second thing that I want to touch on. In Slovakia, we've been making amazing wines for a century. Nowadays, we're still producing amazing wines, but there's lots of people saying, oh, Slovakia started producing good wines, or Czech Republic starts to produce good wines. The thing is, we've always been producing good wines, but what's changing is, I think the winemakers are learning to sell themselves, to market the wines. They're more business savvy. This is slowly what's changing, and that's why you can find more and more fantastic Slovak or Czech wines out there.
But even labelling, sadly, I think with us, we haven't ever dwelled too much on labels because we were a bar, and you would never see the label until you had chosen your wine and it sort of hit the table, and then you could try it. Whereas I guess from a shop setup, the label makes a massive difference because someone's looking at it, wants to pick it up. That looks phenomenal.
Yeah, finally somehow in the recent past we had this idea of, as long as the label looks French style label, the wine is good.
So super old school.
Super old school, but we start moving away from this idea, and this is a perfect example. It's a beautiful thing, yeah, definitely eye-catching.
And do you think global warming's had a big effect with Slovakian wine production or with this particular wine?
In Slovakia, in general, not so much yet, but they definitely know it is coming. So this is grown on the hills of Sitno.
Where's that?
It's the southwest of Slovakia, and it's a microclimate. So
it's sheltered from like larger effects happening around it.
It's cooler than the surrounding areas.
Okay.
It's much cooler, so you can feel the nice healthy acidity in the wine. That's the reason. So they haven't been affected at all by the rising temperatures because the microclimate hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But the changes are definitely coming.
Amazing. Martin, thank you so much for your time and expertise in this wine.
Thank you. Nice shirt.
Thank you very much. Guys, and yourselves, it's been an amazing second session, tasting some rosés and oranges. Next up, we've got some white wines lined up for you in true Diogenes style. I very much look forward to seeing you on the other side. Thank you and take care of yourselves. Stay safe.